Good morning. I'd like to call today's meeting of the Nevada Commission on Homeland Security to order. If I could ask the clerk to take the roll, please. Sherry, you there?
Thank you. Yes, sir. Governor Sisolak,
Here.
Sheriff Lombardo, Sheriff Balaam,
Present.
Thulo, Mitch Fox,
Here.
General Gonzalez,
Present.
Dr. Khan, Charles Moore,
Charles Moore, present.
Richard Perkins,
Here.
Chief Steinbeck, Rosemary Vasiliadis,
Here.
Patricia Wade,
Present.
Bill Welch,
Present.
Karen Burke,
Present.
Gonzalo Cordova,
Present.
Chris Ibsen, Dave Fogerson,
Present.
Sean Rahmeyer,
Present.
Special Agent in Charge Spencer Evans. And for the record, Samantha Laddick. Here. Governor, you have quorum.
Thank you very much. Item number 2, public comment. This is the first time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item on today's agenda, items that are on the agenda, please step forward, identify yourself for the record. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have anyone in Northern Nevada? Do we have any public comment in Northern Nevada?
No, sir.
Do we have any written or telephonic public comment?
No, sir.
Okay, I will close public comment, move on to item number 3, approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the March 7th meeting?
I'll make that motion. That's Mitch Fox.
We have a motion from Mitch Fox. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 4, report on the Office of Cyber Defense Coordination Activities.
Morning. Thank you, Governor and members of the commission. For the record, my name is Sean Rahmeyer. I'm the administrator for the Nevada Office of Cyber Defense Coordination, commonly referred to as OCDC. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today to discuss OCDC's cybersecurity mission. OCDC was established by the Nevada legislature in 2017 with additional responsibilities added by the legislature into the 2019 session. OCDC is housed under the Department of Public Safety, is comprised of 4 staff members, and has an annual budget of approximately $500,000. OCDC's responsibilities are defined in Nevada Revised Statutes 480-900 through 480-950. I won't read NRS verbatim. However, the core responsibilities include developing risk-based assessments of information systems maintained by state agencies, developing best practices to mitigate risk to state systems, establishing partnerships with local governments and the Nevada system of higher education and the private sector. Through these partnerships, we're responsible for providing strategies to mitigate risk and otherwise protect information systems operated by public and private sector entities. We also focus on coordinating assistance between the federal government and local government entities. We consult with the Nevada Division of Emergency Management, Office of the Military, and Enterprise IT Services regarding the protection of information systems in Nevada. We also focus on coordinating cybersecurity related intelligence and investigation with the Nevada Division of Investigation. We appoint incident response teams, establish policies and procedures for incident response and notification. We coordinate incident response with local, state, and federal stakeholders. We also support private sector organizations as requested for incident response. OCDC is responsible for the creation of a statewide cybersecurity strategic plan that's updated every 2 years. We also provide quarterly and annual cybersecurity reports. OCDC is responsible for regulating all Nevada cities and counties as it relates to incident response plans. We prescribe the contents of cybersecurity incident response plans and which are required to be submitted to our office annually. We review these plans and provide feedback as needed. OCDC also has the authority to adopt any necessary regulation to carry out the provisions outlined in NRS 48900-950. OCDC supports a diverse array of organizations throughout the state. Not only do we regularly engage with cities and counties, but OCDC has extensive partnerships with critical infrastructure organizations like NV Energy, Southwest Gas, several water authorities throughout northern and southern Nevada, as well as the Secretary of State's office and elections infrastructure. Further, we regularly communicate with law enforcement, the Nevada Division of Investigation, the Nevada Threat Analysis Center, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, the Southern Nevada Counterterrorism Center, FBI Cyber Squad, DHS, and the Secret Service are all close partners of OCDC. OCDC works with several NSHE organizations, including UNR, DRI, TMCC, and the College of Southern Nevada. We regularly attend quarterly meetings with security professionals representing all the major gaming and hospitality organizations in Las Vegas. We work closely with the Nevada National Guard and recently developed a pilot project to help certify National Guard personnel in cybersecurity assessments while supporting local government and the private sector. Additionally, as required by NRS, OCDC advances the cybersecurity mission by conducting the following activities. We provide consulting and advising to state, local government, and private sector entities in cybersecurity frameworks as required by recent changes to NRS 603A. We provide cybersecurity best practices and risk management. We direct organizations to resources which include no-cost and low-cost industry tools and technology. We provide cybersecurity program evaluation, incident response plans and templates, policies and procedure development. We support organizations by providing guidance and strategic goals and objectives, road mapping, and addressing security gaps. We also focus on trends in cybersecurity threats, industry challenges as a whole, workforce development, training and education, cybersecurity insurance, funding support, grants, and an array of additional topics to help further mature organizational cybersecurity. Further, we participate and provide training and tabletop exercises, planning meetings, monthly and quarterly working groups, annual events, and conventions. As an example, I was recently invited to speak at the Nevada City and County Manager Annual Meeting to discuss cybersecurity. Next week, we'll be supporting a technical level planning meeting in Washington County. OCDC is currently working with Nevada Small Business Development Centers to help develop better access to cybersecurity education and awareness resources for small businesses in Nevada. Over the last several months, OCDC heavily focused on the development of a statewide cybersecurity operations center, which would directly support every Nevada county, city, and several general improvement districts, 40 organizations in total. The Security Operations Center initiative was designed to dramatically improve cybersecurity throughout the state, most notably in rural areas that would otherwise lack funding to build and maintain a security program, as well as the ability to recruit and retain cybersecurity talent. Unfortunately, this project lost its funding. While OCDC's efforts are extensive, it's not without its challenges. OCDC has limited operating capacity and has at times been forced to turn organizations away because we lack the necessary capability to support a request. Despite our efforts, OCDC is only scratching the surface of cybersecurity support in Nevada. A wealth of additional capability would be welcomed by stakeholder organizations if realized. Further, OCDC is operating at a reduced budget due to COVID-19 pandemic budget cuts. OCDC was forced to close its office space and give up its state vehicle as part of those cuts, impacting our ability to establish new partnerships and provide support. Our IT Professional 3 position was vacant for nearly 18 months and was only recently staffed a few weeks ago. OCDC's analyst position was vacant for approximately 5 months last year. Further, since the inception of the office, OCDC has never been staffed or resourced to conduct state agency risk assessments or field and incident response team. Efforts to correct these shortfalls in legislative session since inception have fallen short. Addressing cybersecurity threats will continue to be a challenge, not just for OCDC, but for government and private sector organizations for the foreseeable future. I'm happy to answer any questions and appreciate your time this morning.
Do we have any questions for Administrator Raymeyer? Okay, this is an information only item. I'll close the item number 4. Excuse me, move on to item number 5, review of the federal fiscal year FFY 2022 State Homeland Security Program and the Urban Areas Security Initiative Program recommendations. Director Fogerson.
Governor, thank you. Dave Fogerson for the record. This year's program, the federal government, because of the continuing budget resolution, was only able to give us 30 days to get the entire process completed. So we left grant applications open for 7 days in both the urban area, which is the Clark County, and then for the State Homeland Security Program, which is the additional counties in the state. Once those grant applications came in, Chief Samuels and I divided and conquered. He took the urban area working group that he's the chair of, and they met for 9 hours and went through all the grant applications that came out of those entities. And they were able to rank those grant applications, and that's in your packet. And then we held the Nevada Resilience Advisory Committee, where we looked at some urban area requests that were for statewide initiatives, and then all the other counties' requests as well. Last year, the UAG and the UASI was able to keep the same funding amount, just over $5 million from last year to this year. From last year to this year, the state Homeland Security funds did decrease a couple $100,000 because they increased the nonprofit Homeland Security grant, and the money that they increased that by, they took from the state process. So at INRAC, we talked for about 5 hours, about half of what UAG did. And we went through, and it was a very collective and collaborative process, just like the urban area group did, to review those grant applications and try to spread that money around to most of the projects. And then we rolled those 2 grant requests up, and we took it yesterday to the Homeland Security Commission's Committee on Finance. Chief Samuels isn't with us today. He's on vacation this week, but has been in 2 of the 3 public meetings we've had this week for us to get this process underway. And the Homeland Security Commission's Committee on Finance yesterday, that's chaired by Sheriff Lombardo, did approve and recommend what INRAC and what UAG is recommending. And if Sheriff Lombardo is on, if you want to give an update on the process that you guys went through yesterday.
I don't think Sheriff Lombardo's in attendance.
Doesn't sound like, unfortunately. Okay, so the committee did recommend that we bring to the Homeland Security Commission the approval of both the urban area grant request and the state Homeland Security grant request.
Hey, David.
Oh, sir, go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm on the line. Sorry about that. I had a problem with the mute button. Yeah, I just wanted to build off of what Dave has opined on so far. And for the record, this is Sheriff Lombardo. The Committee on Finance did meet yesterday to approve the recommendations coming forward out of both the State Homeland Security Program and the UASI. The interesting fact on this is there was 12 new projects approved via the UASI, and then 9 new ones out of the State Homeland. And it just shows the change of the core capabilities that we're addressing as a nation and as a state in the Homeland Security space to include the environment and the increase in domestic terrorism. Interesting enough, the community resilience and mass care had risen up on the needs of priorities, and I appreciate the working groups on the deobligation of funds on existing IJs that were not meeting their guidelines or their benchmarks, and moving that money over to different priorities. So, Governor, as a matter of reference, the 2 working groups, both at the UAG and the Homeland Security and the Resilience Committee, they did a significant amount of legwork and a significant number of hours associated with this. So it wasn't flippant, it was comprehensive, and they did a very good job. So I think I just want to publicly recognize their efforts, and they brought forward very viable products. And the Finance Committee had a very simple task of approving each item individually, and I just want to put that on the record. So thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. And if the clerk, if we could mark Sheriff Lombardo in attendance. If anybody else has come since we took the roll, please speak up so we can have an accurate reflection of who's in attendance today.
Governor Todd Fasulo's on. I think I just missed when I logged in the attendance roll call.
Okay, if we could also mark Director Fasulo as present. Do we have any questions regarding these recommendations?
So, Governor, this is Sheriff Lombardo again. I apologize, but reference Sean Rohmeyer's comments on Office of Cyber Defense Coordination. Sean, are you of the opinion that you weren't appropriately funded via the UASC and State Homeland to assist you in your personnel efforts there, or whatever you're trying to achieve out of your office?
Thank you, Sheriff. For the record, this is Sean Rohmeyer. I would characterize our need for resources as needing improvement to address our statutory requirements. Yes.
Okay. All right. That will be taken under consideration in further meetings. I appreciate that under the Finance Committee. Thanks.
Do we have someone who want to make a motion on this recommendation?
I'll motion to approve Governor Todd Fasulo.
We have a motion for approval from Todd Fasulo. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
We have any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, moving on to item number 6, status of Homeland Security Grants Program. Director Fogerson.
Thank you, Governor. Dave Fogerson for the record. In your package, everyone should have a list of every Homeland Security, whether it's the state Homeland Security or the WASI grants from federal fiscal year 17 to current. We wanted to make sure we daylighted the process of all the grants that are currently open and out there, the dollar amounts that were requested, the dollar amounts that have been spent, and what's still remaining. As soon as the grant staff is completed with this new grant application process, we'll start looking at de-obligations. So that way we can start seeing how we can fund additional projects using those de-obligated funds. There's no action necessary. We just want to make sure that we're daylighting the status of all the open grants we do have.
Perfect. Thank you. Do we have any questions on this one?
Yes, Governor, this is John Steinbeck. I have a question for you, Dave. Dave, did you find that that we had any significant gaps that you're looking to address with the DEOBs? Anything come to light through the compressed process? But by the way, you and Chief Samuels did such a great job, and your staff. I echo what the sheriff said, but wanted to see if you had any gaps that were highlighted.
Thank you, Chief Dave Forrest, from the record. I do think that we've got to start looking a little heavier on the cyber side because that is such an emerging threat for us. Active Assailant was the one that came up again this year, and it's come up in the past, and we were able to fund one of the projects on a statewide level for that, but we're trying to make some connections there to solidify some of those projects. I think a lot of what it is the next round. We've done all the easy stuff. Now it's making sure we're connecting those partners and collaborating with folks. So that way we can do more, I guess, bigger projects that are more ingrained with everyone participating. And I think that's where our future is going to be. The UAG did a good job for us identifying what they want to do with their de-obligated funds. That way, once we get those dollar amounts, and that's where Metro was able to get a couple other things. And I believe we're looking at some communication system upgrades. So kind of all over the board there with my answer. I apologize for that. But I really do think the next round is going to be how do we get people to collaborate and cooperate. So that way, when we do spend money, we're spending it for larger groups instead of individual agencies.
Thank you, Dave.
Does that answer your question, Chief Steinbeck?
Yes, sir, it does.
Thank you. Okay, we will. That's just a discussion item. So let's have any further discussions. Item number 7, notification of reallocation of Homeland Security Grant Program funds. Chief Ferguson.
Thank you, Governor. Dave Fulkerson for the record. Just like the last agenda item, we wanted to daylight all the project change requests and the deobligation, reobligation process that we've done to the past. Our process when we look at these grants to start with is a hugely public one with 3 to 4 public meetings that look at these grant requests. But then we go to once we award the grants, the project change requests are handled by staff. So we're working internally at the Division of Emergency Management to put in some internal controls where we make sure that we're daylighting these to the commission, to the Committee on Finance, to NRAC and the UOG. So that way then we can maybe tighten up some of the deobligation requests. Maybe we can start making some of these projects a little more robust. And we can also make sure that we're holding to the same public viewing process we do to approve the grant to when we do the grant change requests. So it's an information only item, just that way everybody has that in their packets and they can review that. If they have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the division staff.
Do we have any questions on the reallocation of funds under item number 7? Okay, this is an information item. I'll close item number 7. Move on to item number 8, public comment. Do we have any public comment in Northern Nevada?
No, sir, and no written comment either.
Do I have any board member comments? Hearing and seeing none. We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
Governor.